rainbow web. It's 20,000 feet of hand-dyed material. I've been weaving and webbing since last Earth Day. The web represents unity and diversity at the same time, pride without prejudice. Today, we're at the Constitutional Boogie in Washington, D.C. to bring the rainbow spirit to Washington. It's a healing, interactive piece between the public and myself. We weave the rainbow web and then we hang our wishes for Mother Earth. Today, children wish that we had more trees, that nothing would ever die and the animals would always be free. I believe that someday people will stop wishing and start working for Mother Earth. Then we'll reach that critical mass. The 100th monkey will start weaving, and the next day, everybody will work for Mother Earth.
Here today to protest the possibility of us losing our right to assembly, which is a basic constitutional right. And if we don't start standing up for our rights, we're going to start losing more and more, as we have been in the past. A man's home is no longer his castle. The right to search and seizure, and I think that all these rights are slowly but surely slipping away from us. We still have the right to protest against our government, but how long will even that last if we don't start fighting now and standing up for our rights now? Who would have thought in 1930, if you would have asked any German citizen what his country would be like a simple 10 years later under the fascist control of the Nazis? And the same thing can happen here. It can happen in any country, anywhere, with any group of people, if they stand by idly and just let their rights go away without fighting for them.
3, 2, 1. Stop nuclear testing. 3, 2, 1. Stop nuclear testing. How's the sound, person? Isn't it wonderful we've stopped testing nuclear weapons? What? The U.S. is planning on restarting its nuclear testing program? Why? The North Koreans? The Chinese? What's the Chinese got to do with it? Now let me get this straight. Because the Chinese did not get the Olympics, the U.S. is now considering testing nuclear weapons. Ay caramba! Hi, my name's Jose. I want to welcome you to Politically Correct Cooking, a show that makes a little bit more sense than foreign policy. Our guest tonight represents an organization. Actually, she represents a group of people, a group of very caring and loving people that are engaged in a struggle for certain rights that the last time I looked on the Constitution, they were guaranteed to all. The person, Red Moon Song, the organization, the Rainbow Gathering, the rights that they're struggling for, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly. Red Moon Song, come on down.
How you doing?
Fine, how are you doing?
Good.
Glad you could be here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, big struggle on the part of the Rainbow Gathering for certain rights. Also lots of interesting and delicious food. Now, before we get into the onions and broccoli of the matter, what's on the menu?
On the menu is Szechuan stir fry, a quick 20-minute trip that anybody can do very simply with a few basic ingredients. Just any leftovers you have in your fridge, just like that.
Is this a staple at the Rainbow Gatherings?
It is at the kitchens I work at.
Okay. Well, tell me what you want to do. We have thousands of people all across from sea to shining sea, waiting to write down what the menu is.
All right.
What do I do?
You can start grating this fresh ginger.
Okay.
The key ingredients for this Szechuan stir fry, if you have these, you have it totally wrapped up completely, is to have fresh grated ginger, fresh chopped garlic, these little tiny hot peppers that you use, these little dried peppers, soy sauce, and toasted sesame oil. If you have those 5 ingredients, you can turn almost anything into an exquisite Szechuan dinner for you or your friends.
I'm psyched.
Okay.
Now, this ginger here, do I take the skin off? Or?
You don't have to do that.
Okay, just
grate it.
Grate it?
Yep.
Do I grate the whole thing?
About half should do it.
Okay. Now, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly. I thought here in the US of A, these were guaranteed. Now, just recently there was a demonstration, Washington, D.C. by the Rainbow Gathering. Department of Agriculture. What was going on? What was the reason for this demonstration?
Well, you know, there's been some problems with these freedoms that we take for granted since the early 80s, actually, with the Reagan administration. There's been assaults on freedoms of assembly, as you know, with homeless issues. There's been a lot more crackdowns on things like that. And so now, and actually this is the third time, the Forest Service is attempting to pass regulations that will require a permit in order to gather in the national forest. And this time they've gone a little bit farther. They're suggesting you have to have a permit even to pass out literature.
Now, this is peaceful assembly by non-felons, I guess. Just can't...
by common folks.
By common
you
folks.
And me.
There's no reason why. And this is out in the middle of the forest,
Yeah.
away from 7-Elevens and civilization.
As far as possible, for sure. So we're not quite sure why they want to do this. We suspect that it has something to do with the fact that when we go out to the National Forest, as we did, for instance, the Rainbow family went to the National Forest both in Kentucky and Alabama this year, and we looked at the 9 states in the southeast and had tremendous difficulties attempting to find a place with clean water. We couldn't even find clean water to feed our family because of the mining and the clear-cutting and timber industries that are using basically the Forest Service as their own private domain.
So what you're looking for is basically just a stream.
Well,
uses
springs, right.
Springs.
Springs that are underground. They have to be underground, and then they come out.
Now, at a rainbow gathering, how many people normally show up to an event like this?
There's a wide variety, certainly. I've been to some that had like 7,000, like this year, there were 7,000 in both Kentucky and Alabama. Or I was in Colorado last year, and we had 19,000. So it's varied all the way up to 35,000 in California, probably about 8,000 in Minnesota a couple years ago.
Now, does the Forest Service have a reason to be so concerned, like 35,000 people out in the middle of the forest? Isn't there regulations such as, I don't know, is it as clean as you found it when you leave it, things like that? 35,000 people is a healthy chunk of change.
It's a lot of people. Well, one of the reasons I started going to these annual gatherings is because I was concerned about the kind of damage that many people might do to a certain ecosystem. And so I've been on the cleanup and recycling crew for the past 4 years. I've been there till the very, very end, and the place is spotless. There's not even cigarette butts when we're done. The issue that's going on with the Forest Service regs, though, is the fact that they already have laws in place for people that litter or for people that do environmental damage. And we have a certain agreement that we set up and hand to the Forest Service that tells them in advance how we're going to conduct cleanup, how we're going to deal with the environment, and things like that. So we feel that there's already enough mechanisms in place to be able to address the issues that the Forest Service says they are addressing.
Don't mining companies and timber companies have some sort of regulations regarding, or is that only for the rainbow gathering?
Well, there's all kinds of regulations on the books supposedly governing what timber and mining industries do. However, the timber and mining industries have the Forest Service pretty much in their back pocket, and there's a number of organizations within the Forest Service themselves that are very progressive Forest Service employees organizations that are protesting the fact that a lot of damage is being done and these various companies are not being held accountable for it.
Do you need more ginger, or is that cool?
No, that's plenty, thank you.
Okay, and carrots?
Yeah,
okay.
If you want to slice those thinly, that would be great. So the issue about freedom of assembly is a very, very important one because I always thought, and this was so interesting, I always thought that we were dealing with the forests of the United States as being commonwealth, as being something that was owned and shared and governed and taken care of by the people of the United States or by the government, the Forest Service, for all of the people in the United States. And in fact, when we talked to one of the Forest Service officials, what they said is that the national forest lands were set aside for industry. And I kind of went into shock, and I don't know why I did that. I'm just so trusting, I guess. But it was like, I kind of went, what do you mean? You're holding these things for industry, you know? I mean, what are you saying? And so it's really this multiple-use concept which has been brought down, which has been going on for about the past 20 years or so, has really been gearing more and more toward industry and towards supporting industry over the past 12 years
So
or
the multiple-use concept is mining is one use, and the other multiple is timber.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be people and
But they're-
fishing and hunting people and Boy Scouts and girls, all that kind of stuff, family reunions. And so it's like, how do you achieve a balance? And the Forest Service has not done a good job of achieving the balance. And as you know, the head of the Forest Service has been canned for mismanagement. They're talking about a complete reorganization of the Forest Service to try and ostensibly deal with these abuses that have been taking place within the national forest lands. And we look at the regulations that they're trying to pass to limit rainbow family and other people who might want to go, to require permits which are against our principles. Because freedom of religion for us does not require a permit, or freedom to go and gather in the national forest should not require a permit.
Now, the other major focus, freedom of religion. What kind of problems do you encounter with that there?
Well, a lot of us have already been through formalized religious training. Certainly, I'm a recovering Catholic.
I was an
Many
altar
people I know-
boy.
See that? I wanted to be, but couldn't be. Okay, so we were dealing with that.
You didn't want to be an altar boy, believe me.
So it's like a lot of people go there because they have alternative frameworks. We look at the forest as our cathedral. We look at the trees as our sisters and brothers. And gathering out there every year, or all during the year at different regional gatherings, is a way in which we connect. You know, where we come together with all our relations to celebrate our diversity. And so there's not structured anything there that deals with quote-unquote prayer, but it's a matter of reverence and being there in a reverential spirit and coming together in that spirit to celebrate our life and to celebrate, you know, our aliveness and all of that stuff while we're there. So it's an integral thing. It's not
And
like something
being
we could do.
surrounded by nature, you
Totally.
get into the roots rather than being in a stone cathedral.
Exactly.
You're in a cathedral of trees.
Exactly.
Well, we have some excellent video coming up. Demonstration that took part at Department of Agriculture. A real interesting demonstration. Probably the most interesting one I've seen. I'm really looking forward to it. Folks at home, you're going to love this. Rainbow Gathering, Department of Agriculture. What a concept, what a mix, what an interesting demo. Talk to you soon. We're going to be back here slicing. How's my carrots?
Oh, excellent.
Okay,
Excellent.
thank you.
All my family, thank God. I don't know how initial effect that you got. Initial that I got a lot of
The video was excellent. I loved it. The clash of cultures there. You've got the bureaucrats with their polyester and the rainbow gatherers and their natural fabrics and stuff.
It was
natural fibers. I loved it.
It was great.
A good turnout. A good. It looked like everybody was dancing, having a good time, chanting.
I was playing the drums heavy.
It seemed like fun. I don't think that the Department of Agriculture has seen a demonstration like that in a long time.
I think you're right.
But I have a feeling, though, that they might be seeing a lot of them soon.
I would like to think so. I don't know what's going to happen yet. Back to the food. Okay.
While we were watching the video, I want to let folks home at know at home that we did the peppers, sliced the carrots, broccoli, onions, ginger, garlic. It smells great.
Okay?
Okay.
First thing you have to do is make sure that your oil is a good temperature when you throw your stuff in, because otherwise it'll absorb the oil, and you don't really want it to do that. So first of all, you put in your ginger, and you put in your garlic, and you saute it around for a little bit like this to get it cooked. Then you add some of these red peppers, and it depends on how hot you want it. If you haven't tried it before, just add a few and see what you think. And then I always add a teeny bit of honey or some other kind of sweetener to kind of offset the taste of the hot peppers, because you want to kind of ameliorate that a little bit, at least take that edge off and give it a little more a warmer kind of a flavor. So after you get done doing these and stirring it around just for a couple minutes, and this is the crucial part. Once you get this together, you can add any leftovers or anything that you want to it. But this is the crucial part. So now we'll add the vegetables. We'll add, let's see, the onions first. And then we'll add the carrots. If you want to bring those over here, that would be great.
Okay.
And kind of stir them around as you add them in, so that we can get the coating of some of this interesting mixture that we've got on the bottom.
Now, for the folks at home, the thicker the vegetable, the sooner it goes in.
Absolutely.
The lighter vegetables go in last.
You can even parboil or steam, which is what I usually do with carrots and broccoli or cauliflower, things like that. Like kind of steam them, half cook them, so that you can just kind of throw them in whenever you're ready to do it. Okay, now we can put these in, because we cut these up all kind of small today, so that they would be pretty much ready to go.
Well, I want to ask you about life at a rainbow gathering once we get this meal here going. Now, at a rainbow gathering, people don't use money. It's like trading and...
Very, very interesting.
we have a show going on. What's on?
What?
A fast? Dear Red Moon for you. Dear Red Moon song. Let me stir this.
Okay. Dear Red Moon Song, I'm real upset that my dad is thinking of starting nuclear testing again. I want to run away from home. Please pick me up in front of the White House at midnight. Love, Chelsea. Don't worry about, P.S., don't worry about my Secret Service agents. They're cool.
Cool. Chelsea, wow. Now, in front of the White House, Peace Park, you're going to, like, drive by on your van picture?
I don't know. We'll have to see what happens.
Well, I'm going to let you go back to this, because what I want to do is find out why Chelsea wants to run away from home and go to a rainbow gathering.
She must have heard what it's like there, I guess. It's pretty interesting because everyone donates something and people bring what they can, and some people bring a lot and some people don't have anything. And between all of us, we share whatever is there. So money as cash is not used except in the magic hat, which is a hat that somebody passes around during the main feeding circles at night. We have big circles, and that's where we eat all together. And then they pass that around, and if you've got some cash, because cash happens to be what you can offer, then that's what you give.
This stuff smells delicious. Let me have a little sample here. Come on.
You can wait until after we pray. That's the way it is.
Okay.
That's the way it goes.
This stuff smells great.
So gatherings last technically about 1 week, although lots of us are there for 2 to 2.5, 3 months doing setup and cleanup, which is what I've done the past couple of years. And it's a very interesting thing to live in the forest for 2 or 3 months out of the year in a tent and cook over a wood stove and haul your own water and chop your own wood. And it's an interesting, for me as a community organizer, it's a very interesting exercise in logistics, in survival logistics. And I think that this is important stuff for us to know. How to find water, I think, is important to know. How to cook over a wood fire, how to work cooperatively with a lot of very different kinds of people. I mean, all different kinds of people go to Rainbow, okay? and you get to practice your truth and love. I say this to people that I meet in the small towns, especially a lot of the religious sector. I said, you know, your book says that which you do for the least, you do for me. And you want to meet some people that you might want to call the least, you're going to meet some of those people there. You know, so if you want to get out and really practice what your religion says, what your book says, this is a good place to do it. Yeah, anybody who wants to check it out, I think it's a wonderful idea. And I've learned a lot about my rights from attending rainbow gatherings. I've learned a lot more about discrimination and about why people want to maintain this space and what the First Amendment really means to all of us, not just the people who are privileged, not just the people who have the money and have private property, but what it means for all of us, even those of us who may be disenfranchised, who may be poor, who may be homeless. And I think that these are really, really important issues. And I didn't see them as that important before. So Rainbow has really educated, helped me, open me up a lot.
Real educational experience.
Yeah.
Well, the food is delicious without a doubt. The honey and the chilies together, a really interesting taste. Hey, que rico es la comida. Now, what I want to do is, you know, since we have everybody's undivided attention, what can people do to support the Rainbow Gathering, to support the rights for people to pursue religion and freedom of assembly?
We get to get these regs stopped. And the things that people can do is, first of all, you can write a letter to Jim Lyons. He is the person who deals with the Forest Service in the Department of Agriculture, and we'll have that address on there for you. And also, if you're not from Washington, D.C., or even if you are from Washington, D.C., it's a lot more problematic there to deal with representatives and senators. But get in touch with your representatives and get in touch with your senators and tell them that you want these regulations stopped, and say that you want them to investigate this, you want them to look into this, you want to put a spotlight, shine some light on this Forest Service that wants to pass this, so that they need to re-examine what they're doing, and the fact that this affects a lot of us in many, many different ways.
Well, the food looks delicious. It looks like it's ready to go. At a Rainbow Gathering, do you all ring bells and say, hey, come and get it, or what do you do?
No, we make a circle. We make a circle. We invite everyone into the circle. Everyone comes into the circle so that we can pray and harmonize our energies before we eat.
Okay.
All right. So your left hand goes up. That's your receiving side, your female side. The left hand goes up. Your right hand goes down. That's your male side, your giving side. We got thumbs to the left here. Let's see if everybody's got it. Okay.
We all got it together?
And then we we come to that universal sound together in peace.
Okay. Thank you so much. It was a wonderful show. A wonderful time.
Yeah.
Okay. Let us partake.
So they done?
Let's see, who was first here?